do a lot of extracurricular activities, from netball through to action ball. I go to the gym, I play tennis occasionally. Netball and stuff is also just a social thing, like a lot of my friends play and we get together, and it's just a good way to socialise and exercise at the same time. And I really enjoy being physically challenged as well. And I think Bharatanatyam, it definitely works on your fitness. Bharatanatyam is not taxing on your knees, but it is taxing on other muscles around, and if they're not strong enough to support it, then my knees, they won't last. So when I go to the gym, I do a lot of quads exercises. I also do a lot of upper body strength, because most of the sport I play doesn't involve much upper body strength, and I find with dancing you do need it. If I don't work it out, I can't hold my posture and my back, I can't hold it all up for a longer time. I'm not an overly religious person by nature, but I find that learning all these stories, it's not like going to a temple and praying on a regular basis where it's a very religious kind of thing, but it's more spiritual, and I find that it's very calming. Like if I'm having a bad day, if I go home and dance, then it just helps me to zone out from everything else that's happening, and it just gives me that little bit of peace of mind. It is very important to me, so I've always prioritised it over other things. So for example, even when I started working, like my new job, it was almost a condition before I started that I will have performances at which I might have to leave work at 4 or 4:30 on a regular basis for 2 or 3 weeks, because I don't want to start somewhere and then go, hey, I have to dance. My priorities are more, I suppose, around family and around the extracurricular things. Like I work to have fun. I don't work to go get ahead in life. I mean, we've got friends and stuff that work in investment banking that are at work till 10, 11 every night. I couldn't do that.
I need my rice. I like Italian, I like Vietnamese food. So I only cook things that I like to eat. So I can cook pasta and pizza and dessert. Chocolate biscuit pudding, caramel pudding, chocolate cake. Yeah. I mean, I do things because I enjoy it. And once I get sick of it, then I guess I look to other things. But I don't really, I guess you can say I don't really have a direction as such. In every Indian family, if you're a little girl, you go to dance class. Dance, Bharatanatyam is not something that I chose. It was something my parents and my grandmother chose for me when I was a little girl. So I guess I can speak for a lot of girls who go to dance when they're young, and then you get to that age where you just, you go through a cycle of phases where you're like, why am I doing this? And you begin to question why you're doing this. For me, I don't think I can set dance aside from myself. I can probably never stop dancing. My mum's my biggest critic, so so if she sees me at rehearsal and she'll come back home and she'll, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. I guess I get a lot of happiness out of dancing. When I'm dancing, I'm happy and at peace with myself, and I don't have to think about anything. I don't think I can stop dancing, and you realise how much you enjoy it. It's just a nice way to get away from all the things outside to this beautiful art form that you don't have to think too much about. It's just something that comes easily to me. Like, I find public speaking really, really scary, but I can stand on a stage and dance, no problem. My biggest fear in life is public speaking. If you compare me to a lot of other girls my age, I guess, I would be traditional. Someone who's very in touch with their culture. The Asian culture is, parents, family. And as a girl, I guess there's a lot of things that you can't do as a girl. I never questioned it when I was a teenager, but then, and you think about it, you're like, I'm glad my parents, didn't let me go off wild.
Very strange, but I have these days where I'll just wander off into the city with my iPod and just walk around listening to my music and just walk around the parks or walk around the art gallery or things like that. I like doing that as well. So every now and then if I have the opportunity I'll do something like that, just to be by myself and in my own little world. And my friends say to me this is why I picked psychology. They call me their Oprah because they can come and tell me things, and I'll advise them, but I'll always walk away thinking what would I do in that situation, or how am I different to this person, which is to my credit and could also be said as a bad thing from time to time because it's not healthy to keep doing that. But I find myself doing that a lot, questioning how I would react, what they're doing differently, and then even comparing one person to another person. I do that a lot, very, very much. My mother was from a middle-class family in Bombay with 8 children and lots of cousins coming in and out of the household. They're after paying bills and putting food in all the children's mouth and clothes and whatnot. There wasn't much money left over to paying for kids dancing and Carnatic music and that sort of thing. So my mum wasn't ever able to pursue that, and I know she was very much interested in it as a child, and I think she put me in it to sort of fulfill her vision for herself. That to me is so inspiring, and I love that is the reason why she put me in, and that she sees me in her as she paces me through it. When someone asks me, who are you, or something like that, what do you do? I honestly, I should say I'm a HR graduate or whatnot. The first thing that pops into my head is that I'm a dancer. My friends say this to me all the time, that is your first identity above and beyond anything else, and I have to agree. When I've had a bad day at work, or when something isn't going great, or even when things are great, I love walking into that room and dancing. Dancing for me is like an outlet to, it's almost, I shouldn't compare it to sort of meditation, but I feel like it is, for me, I feel like I go in there and I switch off from everything else and I forget. And I love dancing when I'm stressed out or when I'm not, when I'm sick. I love coming in and dancing because it makes me feel better. I do consider myself to be Australian. I'm not quite sure why that is. I feel that, I came here 11 years ago now, I think, and we migrated from Africa, but I sort of socially identify more with the Australian environment than I would with any other. But having said so, I think being Australian to me also means that I'm able to do all these other things, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm, someone that drinks beer all day and goes around saying mate. I think you sort of tend to click towards people that have a similar, come from a similar sort of value system as you, if that makes any sense, because I find that in high school particularly, I was Indian and I clicked better with the Lebanese and the Iranian girls whose families were saying the same thing as mine, which was no boyfriends, no this, no that kind of thing, and I found that I got along better with them than I did with maybe the Australian girls who had more